What happened with Raducanu? Seems like you guys never really started. It was quick in, quick out.
I mean, I felt like she was making pretty good progress. I don't know if it was visible or not visible, but I felt like she played more aggressive. I felt like she's playing a little more disciplined. And
When did you start with Emma?
we started 1 week before Washington.
So you went in the hard court summer. You started in the hard court
Yeah,
summer.
yeah, and then we stopped after Ostrava.
But you thought she was playing better.
I thought, yeah, I mean, that's my opinion. But what what the pundits think is different. From my end, I felt she's playing more aggressive. She's using the whole court better. She was playing better patterns. So in that sense, I felt like there was an improvement in her game, which is also, again, it comes down to how much the player is willing to get out of their comfort zone. Comfort zone meaning, okay, they don't feel like this is what is natural to them or what they should be doing, but they're doing it anyways because their comfort zone is becoming so repulsive to them that they don't want to be there any longer. So they're willing to do anything different to just not be in the same situation anymore.
What was that relationship like? How was working with her?
Um, I mean, I was super happy with her. I felt like it's weird because I completely take out of context the slam win. I don't look at that. It just happened. But she's super young. She's like when you watch these, like how these planets were formed, like all these storms and like just these like fluctuations in temperatures, and it's like there's just so much turbulence, and so I feel like that's what she has a bit in her kind of in her game in her mind. And she's super young, but she's very demanding of herself, and she pushes herself a lot. She's super tough on herself, but to me, I felt like she's an incredible kind of intelligent person. When you talk to her, you just forget that she's 19 and 20, and so in that sense, I really enjoyed every second of it. And she's fanatical. Like, she loves tennis. She wants to improve, and she gets a lot of bad rap
Is that
for not
is that
working
is that
hard.
inaccurate? Is she a hard worker?
I mean, with me, she was. Sooner or later, she's just gonna sort it out. She's too smart of a person not to sort out, and she's loves tennis too much not to figure it out. It's just a question of how long it's going to take her and how difficult the road is going to be. But I think she's the person who is willing to go a bumpy road. She's definitely, she's pretty petite, pretty small, so it's going to be tough for her to play against, Badoza, Sabalenka, Samsonovas. These girls can, she can be smart all she wants to, but if these girls like hit 1, 2 shots, physically she can't cover the court, or she can't put the ball back, or she's going to struggle. So she needs to develop her game, I feel, to be more all around. She needs to develop these weapons that are not super powerful. So she's at a bit of a disadvantage, and to develop that, it takes more time. And that's the question: is she going to allow that time to, for some of those changes to occur? Because, like I said, if the road is too long, then you might just abandon it halfway, thinking that you're not going to get there. And does she have the patience to go through that road? And is she going to have right people around her to help her navigate those roads to get to?
We've heard that the dad is a pain in the ass, that the dad is a problem. Is that true?
Obviously, I can't comment on what happens between closed doors because I don't know. I can only see what I can see, and so if something is not shown to me, then I can only speculate, and I don't like to speculate. So I think that is he's definitely involved in her tennis. He definitely wants what's best for her. there are certain relationships between player and a coach which are very unique, but where the coach is in the driver's seat. In a lot of relationships, the coach is more of a passenger, and I'm pretty sure you'll see a lot of these setups around the tour, which is they're actually more dominant now, where the coach is basically like a plumber. He only comes in to fix something. It's not a
Yeah, he's setting up the practices and getting the racket strung.
Yeah, it's more like a caddy capacity, but even caddies are super important, right? Like
Yes, they are.
if the player trusts the caddy. But I feel like, but basically the coaches in tennis and in golf are probably like one of the only sports where they're the employees, they're not the employers. And so you have a completely different dynamic, and you have sometimes absolutely inadequate decision making from the player perspective, right? Because they're like to be 19, 18, 20, 22, and they live like in a bubble life, so they make sometimes decisions that are not very analytical or thought through, and they hire and fire, they please, a lot of times emotionally. And I like to think of a coach as a partner in a business where, let's say you're the owner of the business, you don't know how to run it, but you hire someone who knows how to run it. And then together you guys are building, as a lot of the Instagram like to say, you build an empire together. It's very,
the Tao
very
of Tursunov, man.
But
I was told you were a pretty heavy cat. You're heavy.
Yeah.
Now, why did that relationship end, and who ended it?
I stopped the negotiations. I felt like negotiations went too long, too far. There wasn't a solid commitment, not on the terms that I'd like to have.
Talking about a financial commitment or like a contract?
We started to negotiate over things that were so trivial and insignificant in my mind that it wouldn't have worked. I didn't feel secure in that.
What's an example of something that you thought that comes under the contract that made you uncomfortable, made you pull out?
When you're discussing something insignificant to the overall outcome of the business, like you're discussing what color pencil sharpener should be, then I didn't feel like it's a serious setup. I didn't feel like it's going to be a long-term relationship. I felt like it could at any point break over something insignificant, and I could have been wrong. Maybe I had a PTSD, from the previous relationships, but I felt like I've put in enough. I put enough of myself on the line to prove myself in the past, where I would sacrifice my own security, my own sort of well-being, in order to prove that I'm good enough, and I didn't want to do it again. I feel like I'm a good choice. And if the other side doesn't feel like, or if they're not sure, if they keep asking like, well, you got to prove yourself a little bit more here, a little bit more there. Well, we're not just, and if their decision making kind of makes you feel like they're not sure of your level, then, Emma's great. Like, no freaking questions, but I don't want to wake up every morning and thinking like, shit, do I have to prove myself again today? Or everyone trusts me and we're just working towards a great goal. So, yeah, I don't know if that kind of clarifies it a little more or not.